Good morning and welcome to Atlantic Television Network on Atlantic Blowouts is a syndicated live program of a network featuring chit-chatting and conversation on special interest topics, news, events and stories through correspondence, reports, expert opinion and stakeholders analysis. Today we'll be looking at different stories, and the first one we have here is from Abia State. Pensioners go spiritual over unpaid gratuities, and the Senate has approved Tinubu's 2.2 billion naira loan request, loan request, and we have that Senate adopts life imprisonment for offenders of drug trafficking, and then we have the reps reject bill of 6 years term of office. We have the 2023 presidential poll is not rigged. This is coming from Okupe. And then finally we have from Finland that Simon Ekpa has been arrested for terrorism financing. We'll go on a quick short break, but when we return, we will, as usual, introduce our amazing guests with us here at the studio. Do stay with us.
From the lands across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Welcome back, and like I said, we have amazing guests with us here at the studio, and the first on my left is no other than Mba Ago Kalu. He is a former Enyimba International FC player, and into our stories for today. We have the Abiri pensioners have turned to prayer and fasting to press home their demand for unpaid pension and gratuities, urging Governor Alex attempting to waive the arrears of pension and gratuity through what he described as an illegal memorandum of agreement, allegedly signed with the. How do you feel this incident is? These pensioners are known to be civil servants that have served the country for a period of time, and then after a retirement, they are supposed to receive gratuities. And it got to a point where they had to pray. They actually organized a 3 days.
A pensioner is supposed to. You should know that these pensioners are our fathers and mothers, and they've put in their effort, put in their best while they were serving in the civil service. However, if the governor refused to pay and they have resorted to prayers, I think God to hear our prayers and then facilitate whatever thing they feel will come to them. So it's a very good one that they resorted to prayers. But I am tying their money down means grave, because some of them, yeah, some of them are aged now.
Yes.
Exactly.
Some of them have grandchildren. Some of them are thinking about maybe putting up one structure, life building, like when my grandfather retired as a teacher. That was when he built his own personal house. You know, because while they were in service.
So it's more like it's a life saving.
Yeah, it's a life saving. So while they were in service, they were just thinking of
the rest of it.
Yeah.
So, you know, because they say prayer solves all problems and the rest of it. So it's not a bad idea. I think let them be paid. You know, sometimes when I go to banks, I see parents on wheelchair, you know, lining up, standing for so long, they are waiting for their what they have worked for. You know, these things. And if you ask me, these are things that are not. Parents are calling you every month and 2 weeks, this is finished, we need this medical care and the rest of it. But if they have this pensioners benefit, they will be able to, I mean, cater for themselves and have less thinking. Because at a certain age, when you have so much things thinking and the rest of it, I mean, it takes you off balance.
On your thoughts about that. We've heard about before they had to go on this 3 days prayer and fasting in quotes. They have gone to the office of the federal government to make a protest, to make this known that they want their pensions and gratuities paid, you know, and they noticed that it wasn't taken seriously. So they had to get into praying.
Yes.
I'm coming. I'm sorry. Hold on. And they had to get into prayer and fasting, you know, to pray that this survival plan that he has for himself.
Yeah.
So why do we have to get to that point where if it's so bad that they have to get spiritual to make
you know, I think they've exhausted their patience and they feel spiritual will be the last resort, which they did. You know, I don't want to say law doesn't work in Nigeria.
Okay.
Otherwise, these things should be programmed and aligned in the way it should go. You know, every day you keep hearing we borrowed, we did this, and I mean, what is it for? You know, if you don't think about and consider your parents at old age, I don't know, it means you're heartless. Okay. You know, so these are not things should be baked and go spiritual and the rest of it. These things are necessary, or however it has been programmed. Okay. It's a very necessary.
Wonders. So they believe that the governor of Abia State will be touched by their prayers. But moving forward, Senate on Thursday approved President Bola Tinubu's loan request of $2.2 billion to partially finance the 9.7 trillion naira budget deficit for the 2024 fiscal year. The approval followed the presentation of a report by the Chairman Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts, Aliyu Wamako, during plenary. Presiding over this session, Deputy Senate President Jibrin Barua commended the committee for its swift action and thorough examination of the loan request. Presiding over the session, Deputy Senate President Jibrin Barua commended the committee for its swift action, like I said, and the request being granted for them. In a letter read during the Senate and House of Representatives plenaries on Tuesday, Tinubu had explained that the loan was integral to his administration's fiscal strategy for the coming year. The presidential request for $2.2 billion, which is equivalent to 1.77 trillion naira, is already enshrined in the external borrowing plan for the 2024 fiscal year. Senate President Godswill Akpabio stated while reading the letter. He further directed the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts to expedite its review of the request and present a report within 24 hours. According to him, the requested loan is planned for execution of ongoing projects and programmed in the 2024 Appropriation Act, which are critical strategy which seeks to reduce the cost of borrowing. Lengthen the could raise all or part of the new external borrowing of the $2.2 billion through the issuance of Eurobonds in the international capital markets. Wrote a loan request on Monday of $2.2 billion to Senate, and on Wednesday it got approved. My question is, who vetted it, and what were the processes that it went through? Because we know that when we hear about state revenue and all of that, they go through processes and stuff like that. And Barrister, I'm going to ask you this question, Barrister. Who vetted this? And how come that this happened so quickly?
Actually, you know, they have a committee.
Yes.
The Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debt, chaired by Senator Aliyu Wamako.
Okay.
So the committee was asked to review. They've done their oversight and they've done the review, because irrespective of when it was passed, did the president write the Senate? Yes. Did the chairman of the Senate send it to the proper committee, which is the review committee? Yes. And it went through that committee, and committee came up with their report. And at the end of the day, it was passed. So the most important thing is that there was a review. no matter when, no matter how speed it went, there was a proper review. The committee saddled with that responsibility, led by distinguished Senator Ali Womako.
Okay. I'll ask you a question. Let's hold your thoughts about that. I'd love to get your thoughts on this.
Well, all I hear is we are always borrowing. And, you know, the last time Nigeria borrowed money was, I think, 10th of October, $6.45 billion. You see, the amount of money that is being mentioned, you start wondering what all this money being used for. You know, in the next few weeks, you hear we've borrowed, and, you know, when you keep borrowing, how do you pay? Do you ask yourself these questions? How do you pay? You know? And most of this borrowed money, all from, I think, China and the rest of it. You see, if you ask me, I see a situation in this country where we need to seek their advice and make them importance to this country. But they are serving other countries. I mean, so where are we? Where are we heading to? So when you hear the amount of money being borrowed in billions, and it's unmentioned, you know. So please, I think... like I always tell you, no matter the amount of words, you know, they do what they think and what they want to do, you know. So, I mean, it should be looked into. That's my thoughts.
Thank you very much, Carlo.
Thank you.
Thoughts about that. Barrister, I'd love to ask. You talked about the fact that the president brought the request, and then there was a review. Well, I want to redress on this and ask you a question. We've had cases like in the north right now that this issue of insecurity has been going on back and forth, and then there are cases where those citizens have fled from their houses and then have to settle in IDP camps. Condition of the country right now.
Well, whatever way you say it, the purpose of this loan is for the development of the nation, infrastructural development, irrespective of the type of development that the loan is channeled to. The most important question we should ask here is the $2 billion that is being borrowed, is it used for the development of the nation? The answer is yes. Simple. They are channeling this 2.2 billion to some infrastructures that will help develop the nation, which is Nigeria, our nation. So these people, the president is not taking this $2.2 billion to say, okay, let me use it as a personal use. These are monies that are also going to be channeled to infrastructural development, and it will also help the nation. Yes, you talk about the IDPs, you talk about the insecurity in the northern area, you talk about the farmers not going to farm again. Yes, we have governors in such states. What are the responsibility of the governors? You don't allow...
alone would add to the nation.
They said they will take this loan through Sukuk and Eurobond. Of course, you know that Sukuk, they do a lot of roads, a lot of wrong roads. If you're traveling, if you're not using flight, if you're traveling by the road, you will see once you leave Port Harcourt.
Right now.
Before the president rules to make such request, I think it should be a priority, or it should be a pressing need, like you asked. Let me put it to you directly, the way you asked me. It should be a pressing need, because let me tell you something. You are not in governance. You are in Atlantic television. I'm telling you, I'm coming properly. You are in Atlantic television. You're not in governance. You've not been I don't know, sorry to misquote me. You've not been a local government councillor before. You've not been a chairman before. You've not been a governor before. You've not been a president before. I'm not saying that you won't be.
I will be one.
You will be,
so
yeah, you'll be.
will.
You'll be. Definitely you'll be. Definitely you'll be. But what I'm trying to tell is that governance is a different ballgame from what people think.
Okay.
People can stay in their house to know whether a yam is matured in the farm. But in terms of governance, governance is something that takes a lot of decisions. You make decisions that, if you make this decision, what will be the outcome of the decision, or what will be the benefit of my people for taking such a decision? That is why people view governance from a different perspective.
She asked what is the most pressing needs when these loans are collected, and you are talking about infrastructure and the building of roads and the rest of it. I was expecting you to tell me that there's hunger in Nigeria, and you know, farmers should security and overcome insecurity so that farmers can go and farm. When they collect this loan, they can channel it to where we will have food. Barrister, people are hungry. I must tell you the truth. You are aware of these things. So I'm not saying the infrastructure like roads and the rest of it shouldn't be done. I know there are also way of traveling and moving to certain areas, you know, but at the same time, hunger is the major thing. So I am seeing the federal government, how they can improve the economy of the country and stabilize things, stabilize dollar, because if you ask me, the challenges of Nigeria is always the dollar rising and the increment of fuel. When these two things are playing, my brother, you know what it means, you know? Everything is like this.
I wanted him to land because I am sure you're Nigerian and you're in this country, and then you know the price of petrol and how it's been, the high electricity tariff and all of that. But sometimes we don't speak out of sentiment, but out of reality and law. And I was expecting you to land on that, but we'll still get your thoughts on other things. But we have to move forward. To the National Assembly has amended the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act, prescribing life imprisonment for drug offenders and traffickers. This decision followed the adoption of the harmonized reports by the Senate and House of Representatives on the NDLEA Act amendment. The amendment specifically states any person who unlawfully engages in the storage, custody, movement, carriage, or concealment of dangerous drugs or controlled substances, and while doing so is armed with an offensive weapon or disguised in any manner, commits an offense under this act is liable upon conviction to life imprisonment. The Senate approved the recommendation through a voice note during a Thursday plenary presided over by Deputy Senate President Baru Jibrin. In addition to the NDLEA amendments, the Senate also passed a bill to empower the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. The Senate endorsed the bill following deliberations and a majority votes. It now awaits President Bola Tinubu's assent to become law over it. I would still love to get your thoughts about this, and I hope you don't get sentiment about this one right now. Barrister, I want to get your thoughts. What do you have to say about the issue of drug trafficking and the fact that a law has been imposed that offenders will be charged with life imprisonment?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I think the amendment is in order, because our youth, our young ones, they've taught themselves to a devil. The life imprisonment, yes, is okay, so that everybody will be very careful and cautious. With that sentiment, like you said, let me push it back to you. Our youth, they have turned into several things. The inhale or sort of the key thing in this life is home tree. I grew up with my parents. I stayed with my grandfather and my own father. Because of the fear I have, today I cannot taste alcohol. He can attest to it. He's my president in our champions, that our alma mater, our Old Boys Association. He's my president.
Okay.
I'm his secretary. He can attest to that in our meetings, I don't take alcohol because I grew up to not taking alcohol. I don't even understand. I didn't do all those drugs thing because I was also brought up through that way. So what matters in this life is home training. Home training have 80% effect on every family. Every family, just like you said, you grew up as a church girl. As you are just coming up, you know, church. But then you say, today I no go church. I don't even understand.
Yes.
These are the things we're talking about. So in Nigeria, parents should be, in fact, if I was in that National Assembly, I would have also given parents like 3 months imprisonment for not, yes, for not doing what you're supposed to do.
Okay, so you're saying that the family has effects on the decisions of this
A very big
traffickers,
effect.
Drug offenders.
A very big effect.
Okay.
Because if you're growing with if you stay with your mom or your dad, whichever way, or your auntie, they should be able to train you in a way that when you grow up, you now know the bad and the good.
Okay, thank you. I want to ask, do you think the life imprisonment sentence is the right decision to take to curtail those drug abusers?
The life imprisonment,
Which academy is he? You don't even know. You know, so the child can tell you anything. We have gone to the field and they go to smoke. I remember when I was younger, I used to have friends, very close friends. Like I told you, I'm an ex-footballer. And those days when we are younger, from childhood, if your parents, you know, focus you on knowing God, going to churches, some fears is stealing. It's been stealing. Just like Barrister said, he knows. I do not take alcohol since I was born.
Okay.
Because from a younger age, my parents, you know, they were warning you, telling you this thing is dangerous to your health. And at the time, you feel that you are no longer with such kind of things, you know.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Colin. Thank you. I want to ask you a quick question. There's drugs, heroin, and all of that. The higher hierarchy of drugs. In quotes, they say there are a lot of money in it. Do you think that the reasons why most people get into the trafficking of drugs is because
and you know, I think Obasanjo pleaded, and I think that situation was very critical and it was difficult to resolve. Now, these are things people should know. Now, young guys, you know, especially the ladies, you just come and tell them anything. Like you come now and tell, okay, like child trafficking. If you go to some of these to
the barrister, do you think that the issue of life imprisonment adopted by the Senate will curb this drug trafficking in the country?
It will definitely curb it, because it will make everybody to curtail this drug trafficking. So it will definitely curb it.
So it's a good decision that has been taken.
Very good one.
How about cases where we have situations where let's say there is no life imprisonment situation, and then there is a bill that has been adopted that when you commit an offense, you get imprisoned for it, and then eventually get released. You know, sometimes some of these adults they have leaders.
If assuming there is no life imprisonment, that's what you're asking me.
Yes.
The society will be lawless. Everybody will do.
The law of the drug trafficking by having life sentence imprisonment. I mean, just like my colleague said, this is a very
follows 188 subsection 1, notwithstanding any other provision. The governor shall present a midterm account of stewardship performance reports to the State House of Assembly at the end of the 3rd year of the 6-year term. This what's your thoughts on this?
It's very laughable. because the first 4 years, sometimes you don't really see any tangible thing done. I'm in line, this particular one, I'm in line with Barrister Cyprian Wale, because he had just said something that one should be able to hear. Because, you know, when you have spent 4 years and you said that good soup does not hide. It has all the content and condiment in it. You see everything and, you know, you will enjoy it. So let us have a good governance, and I mean, let the people say, yes, we believe in you, we trust you.
After 4 years, we see amazing things happen. And then Barrister said that we can re-elect you to be the governor for the next 4 years.
To reaffirm your promises.
To reaffirm your promises, to be sure that, okay, yeah, you will keep to the things that you said. But the first 4 years, what if we don't see the things that you have done? What if we don't see the things that you have done? Why do we have to put you back in office? Well, my question here is to be passed.
No, I think not at all. It shouldn't be passed, because Barrister Cyprian, my colleague, has said it all. You know, when you've spent 6 years and you know you are not coming back, when they leave the office and the rest of it, you can't do anything. Like after 6 years, you are not coming back. When you leave a governorship sitting and you now move to a senatorial seat, you know, from senatorial seat, you're a minister and the rest of it. Some of them have done 30 years, 25 years in power. What, you know, stories, you know, this is where we come back to say, it's age where you can still think and do these things like this. Who will be your mentor? When your mentor is late or no longer strong enough to, how are you going to be mentorized? I mean, how does it go? So what I'm saying in the essence is that, you see, they have been. We don't have such. Nobody will testify to that.
Thank you very much, Carlo. I'll go on your thoughts, but we would love to continue. We'll continue when we come back. We'll go on a quick short break. Do stay with us.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Welcome back, and thank you for still staying with us and talking about the president. The former presidential spokesman Doyin Okupe has dismissed claims by Peter Obi of the Labour Party that the accusations about rigging do not hold water. They do not hold water at all, he said. Tinubu had emerged winner of the election, followed by Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, and Obi of Labour Party came a distant third. Following the declaration of results, Obi and his followers, the Obedience Movement, had alleged that the election was rigged. So he's saying that the election wasn't rigged, but Obi claims it was rigged. Barrister, I would love to hear your thoughts about this.
By the affirmation of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, like Doyle Kube said, if you check from the result released by the Independent National Electoral Commission, I will agree with Okupe that P2B, the Labour Party presidential candidate in 2023 presidential election, won in Lagos State. Lagos State is the state of the sitting president today. You can attest to that. That the sitting president then, President Muhammad Buhari, P2B also won in Abuja, FCT, Federal Capital Territory.
Yes.
So why don't you make a claim of rigging? So if you can win all these places that, if they want to rig election, for instance, if they want to rig election, if, for instance, I'm from River State and I'm contesting presidential election and I know that River State is my home base, if I want to rig election, I'll start from my home. I will rig my state first, so that if I rig my state, then it will tell on every other person that
Election general in the country.
I don't succumb. I don't even know what is called rigging. In the entire system of my life, I've never seen. Right from when I was in primary school, secondary school, all the elections I've contested, I've never had what is called. But people came on. People comes on national television. People go to social media. People go to radio houses to acclaim something that does not exist.
Okay, Barrister Supreme, talking about social media, we had the obedience movement during the time of the campaign, and we had lots that this same set of...
To put it to you now, the set of people that you're talking about, were they the only set of people that campaigned? Answer the question.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they were not the only set of people. Yes, people campaigned. As they were campaigning, other presidential aspirants were also campaigning.
Okay.
So these are the things you put in place.
I'll hold your thoughts on that. Kalu Agua, well, what do you have to say about this? Because I've been seeing you smile. So you have a lot to say. I would love to hear it.
Yeah, because they say charity begins at home. You understand? So what I'm saying in essence is that, you see, election, it's something that, okay, for instance, look at the database didn't work in Jonathan's place. I hope you're aware about that. During the election, what does that tell you? So many places. But finally, results came out. Opinion is that, you see, the caucus will always say, this is who we want. And
Platform for a particular person for each year of election to take the position of the president, candidate, sorry, and then Peter Obi. I wanted to...
I hope I'm right.
Yes.
Fine, it's a known fact. Now, when somebody tells you it's his turn before the election takes place, what do you think? You know, you see, if you ask me, I will tell you most elections, even, I mean, it has to be that this is who the caucus wants. This is what we want to do. You see, you might have the money, but you will not win the election. I hope you are aware.
Yes.
You see, election is strategies. It's strategized. Who wins the race? The most strategized group of people, parties.
In what essence do you mean when about the strategy?
You see, strategy, I don't want to go fast because we don't have so much time.
Okay.
But, you know, like I tell...
I would actually want you to say something about the strategy part.
you know, strategy comes in so many ways, like I said. You understand?
Okay.
You've had people saying, we've had us talking about rigging and who won here and who didn't win here. If you ask me the last presidential election, you know, everybody would always tell you P2B won. P2B won. But the man came third. Atiku came second, and our president came first. So, you know, things must be exchanged. You know,
strategy do you think that the president, or the current president, employed to win this election?
Well, like I've told you, I was not there, but the truth is, you know, the election is being planned from the bedroom, and before you can be able to execute it outside the bedroom.
Barrister, I would love you to well, he said elections are being planned from the bedroom. Does it? I don't know what he's trying to say, but I want you to answer that question.
If you talk about planning, election plan, different ways of planning for elections. There is campaign.